Today on the C&J Mudco, the 450 finally gets snorkeled. Be sure to stick around too, because we got a little something extra in this box here. Enjoy the video. Alright guys, we're going to talk about everything we got to build our snorkel kit now. First thing I want to mention is everything that you see here that we got cost us about 160 bucks after shipping, after taxes, after everything. 160 bucks compared to buying a snorkel kit for like 300. So I think that's a win already. Let's get into what we got. Obviously we got our 2-inch piece of PVC, 10 feet of it to be exact. So we'll have extra. We got 1.5 inch, 30 feet of 1.5 inch pool hose here. We got PVC to a threaded male adapter. We got 4 of those. We got, these are kind of cool actually, conduit hubs. We got 4 of those. I'm going to show you how we use those later. We also got Fernco fittings, 3-inch to 2-inch, 2 of them. 2-inch to 1.5 inch hose adapters, PVC to hose adapters. We got 4 90-degree elbows, miscellaneous screws for some self-tappers. Everything pretty much came from Home Depot. The only thing you do have to order is the intake adapter plate to go on the top of your intake on the 4-wheeler. This came from Snorkel or ATV, and that's where our hose is going to attach to. You'll see. Silicone, because you're going to need a silicone every connection. We even got some black and blue paint if we're feeling froggy. Let's get to it. Finally get to stop hearing this every time this thing idles now. So just a quick note on our 90-degree fittings that we got here. So I just had to take the barbs off of them here. As you can see, I tried to smooth it out. Sometimes it's a little tough with these things. If you could find a fitting that's 1.5 inches and just straight already without the barbs, it would be better off. But with the barbs on it, I could not fit it into our snorkel pool hose. I'll show you how I did that. Okay, now that we got our elbows smoothed out, the barbs are off of it. It'll fit into our 1.5" pool hose. So, like I said, I don't really like doing this kind of thing. But when you don't get a kit, you kind of got to improvise every now and then. This is one of those cases. This was all I could find, so I'm going to try and make it work. If you can find something that's just straight 1.5", no barber on it, no barber, no barb on it or anything, you'll be better off doing it that way. Now we're actually going to skip ahead and go right to setting up the stacks on the front of the four-wheeler. Okay, so here is where our conduit hubs come into play. So now I already have an idea of where I'm going to lay these things out. So I'm just kind of going to mock everything up so you can see what I'm going for. Okay, we're threading these male adapters in temporarily to the conduit hubs. And all we're going to do is use that, and we're going to get an idea of how long, how high a stack we're actually going to make. We're going to cut 4 10-inch pieces of PVC now and see what it looks like. Okay, the cool part about all this is now with these you can literally do anything you want to do. If you want to make these taller, shorter, you want to aim them back, you want to aim them in, you can separate them, you can put them closer to here, you can go higher and lower, so many options. So anyway, this is more of the style I was going for. Of course, just like with the Rad relocation kit, make sure still got room to turn your handlebars. Trading value is going to be after this. So we're actually going to take and we're going to build this thing from the bottom up. So we got our conduit hubs on there. Now we're going to take our male adapters and we're going to put them in next. Now we don't need any sealant or anything on there. If you want to do it to make yourself feel better, you can, but this part doesn't actually need to be waterproof. We are going to make them tight, however, because obviously you don't want them coming loose and moving around on you when they're going on rocky trails or whatever. We're also going to use a strap wrench to tighten these down so that we don't put teeth marks in our nice new snorkels. Let me use this thing. On to the next side. Okay, so for the next part, we are actually going to use the cleaner, the PVC cleaner, and clean up our ends, and then we're going to use the cement to cement them into place. Stuff stinks. Make sure you press it down firmly into place. Make sure you're nice and straight, level, whatever you want to call it. If you want to use a level, you actually could. I'm just gonna eyeball it. This stuff dries pretty quick, so give it a few seconds. gets hardened up, you can actually put your next one into place. Okay, so when you're putting on your 90s, easiest way to do it, angle them where you want, which is a pain in the butt to try and figure out, because for me, I like everything to be kind of nice and even and symmetrical. So we got them, I got them where I want them to go. So now that I got them in place temporarily, all we're gonna do is mark them with a marker, make a line on both your elbow and your straight piece. That way, once you got the glue on there, you don't have to fumble around trying to make sure you get it right where you wanted it. So be sure to mark it. Now just take and one by one, that way you don't mix up your marks, glue them into place. Thing of beauty. I'm no plumber, but I think that's a fine job. Okay, now that we've given them about 15 minutes to dry, we're gonna take them off of here and we're gonna paint everything out. Okay, so right now we're actually gonna mark these 1, 2, 3, and 4 so that we know right where they belong. So it's 1, 2, front to back, 3, 4, front to back. So here I just set everything up so that I know which stacks went where. I got them each marked so that after I get them painted, I know which ones went where and nothing gets mixed up. Finally get all your holes drilled, now it's time to start running your hose. It always helps to have an idea of where you're going to go with the hose. We're actually going to set it up so that the left side is going to be our transmission side and the right side is going to be the engine side. Let's go. Now before we cut any hose, we are going to actually attach our fittings here to make sure we're at the proper length on this end, and then we're going to cut it after we close the lid on that end to make sure we're the exact length we want to be.
quick look at how we routed our hoses. The final result here, we're keeping it as neat as we can. You can see. A little bit of a pain. Always be sure you look out for any sharp edges, anything that can cause your hose to get cut through after riding on rocky trails or anything. In the center there, you can kind of see it. Make sure you're clear of your steering linkages right here. You can see, rotate them a little bit. Make sure you rotate them full back and forth. Make sure you're clear of those two nuts on top. That's the left side. Head over to the right. Okay, if you remember, we used our board here to make sure we have them all marked, numbered 1 through 4, and we got them painted up. So now let's put them on. Okay, so after you got your hoses ran, you got everything zip tied nicely into place. Everything's looking good. Everything is clear of any moving parts. Anything that rotates, make sure you clear your steering shaft or tie rod ends. Make sure you don't zip tie any hoses to any rotating or moving parts. I've seen it before. Also make sure you stay away from the exhaust, anything that gets really hot that might melt your hose. After all that, we can put our plastics back on. So one of the first things I noticed after the install of the rad relocation kit is that riding around on a rocky trail, this entire lid bounces around like crazy. Your latches end up coming undone. The thing rattles and shakes like crazy. That's not so fun. So it sucks to do, but we're actually going to take and bolt this thing down permanently. Not permanently, but we're going to bolt it down. Okay, so the way we're going to bolt this down is we're going to use these, I think they're 6 mil or 1/4 inch J-nuts. So you use these, and then we got the bolt and a fender washer. We're probably going to paint those up so that it doesn't stand out too much. So that's basically it right there. We got the J-nut. We slotted a little hole through there. Drilled a hole through the front side here. Then obviously we'll close the lid. Make our hole on the lid. We'll bolt it right to that. We're gonna do the same on the other side. And in case you're worried about the seal, it'll still fit into place nicely. That's what that one looks like. This part could be a little bit tedious. We're actually going to put these stacks on very last so that I can make sure that these hoses are going down all right. The rad relocation kit hoses are going down okay, not getting kinked or anything. So I don't have to worry about coming in here next week because something is kinked or anything stupid happened. Okay, after your shirt, everything is routed nicely. You got no kinks in your hoses, any of your hoses. We're gonna drill our holes for our bolts. Perfect. Two in a row. Might as well pack it up tonight. Piece of the snorkeling kit puzzle. I got some of these 2-inch to 1.5-inch bushings. I cut them in half and I painted them blue, and I'll show you what we're going to do with those. So that's my take on snorkeling the 450. Hopefully you guys like this video. Hopefully I helped someone out there, anyone. If I did, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe so we can keep content like this coming. In case you were wondering what was in that box from earlier, next the 450 is going to be getting some arch control arms. You're just going to have to wait for the next episode to see how we do it. Thanks for watching.